In this RH Jam, we'll discuss the effect of positive and negative thinking in our healing, the law of attraction, and how this impacts what we call an RH miracle, a Reconnective Healing miracle. Our very own Nadia van Raam, who is a Reconnective Healing facilitator and instructor, will join us from the Netherlands to share her experiences of RH healing and miracles. Let's say hello to Nadia. Hello. Plus, we'll share with you an exclusive video clip from an upcoming interview with Dr. Pearl and Jillian Fleer, coming up today in the RH Jam. Hello again! I am Ana Clavell, and if this is your first RH Jam, we aim to be a weekly live event right here on our YouTube channel where we get to discuss anything and everything Reconnective Healing. Plus, and just as importantly, we love to discuss questions and topics that are important to you, are important to us. Like, take today's topic. It was originated by one of you, one of our viewers. They sent in the question that we are going to be tackling today. And every week will be like this. So I encourage you to, you know it is coming, to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it out to your friends and family so we can grow. So listen, guys, the more we are able to discuss our discoveries, to share our experience, to be able to speak our truth, the more people will understand where we're coming from and resonate. Not to mention that the more we talk about the frequencies, the more they spread around. So let's start the topic today, jump right in. But first, I'd like to greet everybody who's joined us in the chat. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ganiel, Silke, Lexi Alexander is here with us again today. Thank you, Lexi, and thank you, Cecilia Sams, who is also here in the room with us today. Alrighty, let's talk about positive thinking. Okay, so you see this lady here in this photo? I'm going to point in that direction now. That's me. That's me when I discovered the power of positive thinking. And I've got the power because it's one of these things that we add to our toolbox as we uncover the discoveries others have made about our relationship with our reality, right? Again, I think bottom line is that as humans, we have this sneaky need to control things. And positive thinking really falls in that basket. The truth is, bottom line is, it does seem to work. I mean, from the moment I personally learned about positive thinking, and I then read The Law of Attraction, and that's a really interesting story I'd love to share with you really briefly. But when I first discovered this, it had, I was not really a seeker. So when I discovered this correlation between, our attitude to things and how things would happen in response to that, it didn't make immediate sense to me. I had always observed my father, who he will rise from the ashes no matter what. He will plow through colds and whatnot as if nothing is happening, nothing is touching me. And that brings on him and in him an immediate beneficial reaction, or he can overcome whatever challenge that comes his way. When I read The Law of Attraction, was actually for a documentary that I was researching for on the power of belief. What is it that we believe that changes the course of whatever we call our journey, our reality, our timeline, whatever way you want to call it, or the outcome of a specific situation. One of the things that I observed in it is like we did like a tiny experiment. We had a group of 3 people who were going to be working on this project together, and we decided that a part of the testing of what was that we believed in, we would read the book, and then we would apply to whatever came our way. We would restate and reframe and change around whatever we perceived as negative to turn it into a positive for us and just stay there. So 2 of us set out to do it, and we gave it the big thumbs up like you see in this picture. But one of us was not so keen on it. Yeah, The other person who was part of the group was very against the whole concept. She really resisted that any positive attitude could influence any outcomes. And we could observe in ourselves that her attitude really undermined our own attempts to remaining positive. So you see, remaining in that positive thinking mode or in that positive attitude takes effort. And I think in our discovery, it takes a certain amount of conviction, of being present in focusing in that this is the positives that I want in my life. Almost like a mantra, like you can repeat every day of the things that you want to go through, that you want changed in your life, right? There's another thing that we quickly discovered in our conversations, because we observed this in ourselves, and we spoke about it frankly, about what were our discoveries based on this whole concept of positive thinking. And it was so immediate to us that one of the main reasons that this undermining was taking place was because we had a sense of self-worth that was really stopping us from feeling completely worthy of the positive outcome we were seeking at any given point. And at that time, I have to tell you, it was not something that I was looking into. It was just a discovery that I saw, and we just let go and passed on. It was just done, the research was done on the frame or a specific documentary about belief. So it was not something that I took with me. I observed it, we observed it, but it was not something that I could see how that was really truly influencing so many other things in my life. When Reconnective Healing came in, and the whole concept of perhaps understanding better this whole correlation between like attracts like, right? I have this really pretty image that I want to share with you, right? In which you envision the entire universe really like in this beautiful jar. It's there for you. All you need to do is envision it. In that first discovery of Reconnective Healing, I pretty much allowed a lot of that all thinking that I have picked up from understanding positive thinking versus negative thinking, kind of like permeate my early days in understanding, okay, so what is it? How is it the reconnective healing happens, right? How all these strange transformation healings, the logical aspect had understood everything that was said. And I actually, possibly more in my instinct, I knew, but it was the reverse. Actually, it was my logical mind who said, I still don't see the connection, because what is my participation? How much of it is control? And still that little tape recording of worthiness kept playing in the back. It was still there. And it wasn't until I understood something super core to Reconnective Healing that it opened up for me all the other possibilities of what the RH miracle is, this transformation, this healing that happens outside of space-time, that we have zero need to direct or control. It is our relationship ultimately with receivership. It is such a misunderstood concept, not only in our day-to-day, and we had a magnificent conversation about it and another RH Jam, and I'll put the link here below so you can go and check it out, when we talked about receivership. But I discovered that the perception of something that has happened, the understanding that it is real, that it is happening, in Reconnective Healing does not depend really, this is from my observation, on any positive thinking, any type of direction. It is about opening ourselves to receivership. And that's why I think Nadia van Raam, who's going to be joining us momentarily, has a beautiful story to share with us about the own miracle she received in her life, receivership, and also the very definition of positive and what miracles is. So without further ado, why don't we welcome Nadia van Raam? Hello, Nadia. Welcome, Nadia. How are you?
Thank you so much.
I
It's
thank you.
wonderful to be here.
And thank you so much because I know there's a big difference of hours and I'm keeping you up. I know, and I'm so grateful you are able to join us today.
I'm super excited. I have not done many of these events online like this, but I imagine all the groups that we've seen around the world, and it's like we're speaking to them.
Yeah, and we are. There's no barriers really to reconnective healing and how the frequencies travel. And as I explained to you briefly, the topic today, it's something that it is very intrinsic to how people perhaps understand what healing is or what transformation is from their point of view. And I started talking about how that looks like with reconnective healing, and in specific the power of positive thinking and attracting in like. Have you experienced this in your own life, this whole thing? I believe it's called the law of attraction. What can you share with us about that?
Law of attraction, positive thinking, what you think you create, all of that. Well, coming from me, people who know me will be very surprised when I say it has nothing to do with receiving reconnective healing. Because often, when we are seeking healing, or when we want to receive a session, it's at a time when we struggle to find the positive thoughts, or we're overwhelmed with our life experiences. And that's usually the time when we start to reach out. And I have found that having a positive thought or positive thinking doesn't necessarily affect the session at all. And it's also quite surprising in a way, because people who know me personally will say, but you do have a positive attitude. And that is true. But there is sometimes, life gives you challenges, and it's actually feeling the emotion that is connected to that. Feeling the sadness if you lose someone, or feeling, the tears, frustration, or even anger, or all of those things. If we cover it up with positive thinking, it didn't really cure, or it didn't really disappear. It's actually still there.
That's that's a really interesting point that you bring up. Absolutely, how positive or negative we feel does not affect anything that happens in the reconnective healing environment. But that's very interesting about being able. It's almost like it's a band-aid going into the positive thinking,
Yeah.
as opposed to maybe be aware of everything that is causing this unrest and whatever the challenge is bringing up for us. So, do you feel that then, if you believe in this, if you believe that positive will attract positive, are we then creating our issues via this positive and negative thinking? Are we aiding and abetting that process in a way?
Like we are causing our own illness, or those kind of things.
Or challenges. Let's not even call them illness, but through positive and negative thinking, the alike attracts like. Is it then a matter of belief that is affecting you, or are we actually causing it?
Well, I'm not very fond of the word belief, because it doesn't, there is no, it's not truth. I believe that today will be beautiful weather. It really, we can believe all we want, but it's not always happening. I do believe there is an actual relationship between our state of being and the challenges we attract in our life. But I think it's more on a deeper deeper level, not so much only the what is it nowadays, 5 to 10% of our conscious thoughts and thinking and behavior. There's something on a deeper level, and we might view them as challenges, and sometimes they are the greatest gifts if you look at it, from a different point of view. So it's all a label, really. And if we could just step back and look at the life experience we're having, whether it's a challenge or it's something that's beautiful that is happening, and we can just allow it to be as it is, without all the labels, then perhaps, we see also the relationship between what is happening in our lives and what is happening inside of us. And I do believe that connection is there.
And the challenge is that, that whole relationship we have with the word belief and the baggage of that word belief, right? It does permeate a lot of how we, I don't know, maybe how we reduce in our own minds the probabilities of something happening versus things staying the way they are or getting worse. Because again, I also agree with you, challenges perhaps is a matter of perception, and we're just not seeing yet the full picture of what this so-called challenge is bringing. What about when we're talking about then the miracles that I know as a practitioner you have experienced, you have witnessed, the reconnective healing miracles, the transformation and healing that happens? Is it dependent on positive thinking?
Absolutely not. It's sometimes I even feel it's the contrary. I can speak from my own experience. When I was first introduced to this work, there was so much I had done on an energetic level, and maybe I was a little bit disappointed in the results of it. So many things were offered or promised, or and I went into my first session thinking, well, it's going to probably be a little bit like, so there was no oh yeah, this is going to work, and I was a bit skeptical. I had just met Eric a few days before, and I didn't think he looked like a healer at all. So I thought, this is just a funny American teaching, and now he's telling me to do a session with someone else who had just learned this work. And I thought, well, I have nothing to lose. But I wasn't open or sure it was going to work, and I was absolutely amazed with the experience. And to come back to the word belief, I realized at that moment that before I believed that energetic work could do a lot for us. But when I received Reconnective Healing, it became tangible. I really felt everything. I've got a lot of scars and issues in the body, mostly at that time. And I could just feel the frequencies there. I didn't even know it was the frequencies, just feel sensations there. And I realized that before it was belief, and after it was knowingness. I just knew something was happening, and I didn't even know what it was. And honestly, there is part of it I still don't know what it's all is about, or what the frequencies are. And I don't think we can totally comprehend in our human capacity at this moment in our evolution.
It's your encounter with the frequency is so similar to mine. I was laughing out here on camera. It was pretty much the same. When it came to the own miracle that happened in me, overcoming years and years of progressive incurable disease. I was not in a frame of neither positive or negative. I was just resigned that this was the way it was always going to be. And it was actually viewing a video right here on YouTube, like all of you are doing right now with Nadia and I. That's when the transformation took place. It wasn't even in the environment of a session or a training program, which just goes to show my mind was not involved at all in seeking a healing or looking for a miracle. The miracle simply happened. Something allowed for me to open up to seeing this possibility, for allowing myself to receive what was being offered through Reconnective Healing, and in this case, through a video from a guy I seen in a conference like 3-4 years before, and that was the end of it. I completely forgotten about Eric Pearl. Isn't that funny?
It's wonderful. Well, sometimes when I have faced serious physical challenges as well. I've been operated on my heart, my aorta, I have a pacemaker. It totally messed up everything inside. And sometimes, to wish or to open for the possibility of healing and it not happening is almost so scary that you don't even allow the hope to be there. And that's when you get surprised with this work. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I see lots of clients being really surprised. Sometimes they say, yeah, well, this and this person said that maybe I should try this, and I'm not so sure, but I don't know what else to do either, so I came anyway. And those are the most fun clients for me nowadays, because I kind of know that very often they will share in their debrief of the session and said, oh, this was really something else. And I love to see that surprise in their faces.
So that experience of our age in your own practice and as an instructor as well with the International Reconnective Healing teaching team, tell us then, in recognizing these moments of transformation, that this is happening despite whether you're feeling positive or negative, or resigned about whatever condition it is, how it just, my discovery in that discovery of healing clients is that it transcends all of that. What are, just to call them something, the miracles, the transformations, name a few that have not impacted you because one has more merit than the other, because it's not like that, but that really touched you in some ways.
The experience of that with my clients?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of something that happened quite recently. And it was a client that has a very serious illness. And she's actually preparing to pass over. And she's doing that very consciously. It is something that is uncurable. And she wants to end life in a dignified way. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Sort of her choice.
Yes.
But she also has a little daughter of 8 years old. And, when children are involved in these kind of things, that usually touches me a lot. And so the client is coming over, and I'm really making sure she understands that, I'm not offering any solution, or, we're just figuring out together the way she's responding to the frequencies. And we're not sure yet, but what happened in the last few months, she actually postponed her, I don't know how she does it. She has so much humor. Her departure date, she has postponed that. And she took a long holiday with her daughter. And I can tell you, I cried when I heard, just tears came up. And I'm not sure whether our sessions allowed her to do it. I cannot make any claim about that. But if it in any way contributed, that's enough for me, and it really warms my heart that she got to spend so much extra time with her daughter. And yeah, do we call that a miracle? I don't know. I don't really even like that word so much. But it's just, extraordinary experiences. I always think that maybe, humanity in the next 100 years, they're looking back at us and they're saying, oh, they called that miracles. Nowadays we just call it science or something like that. I don't know if you agree.
I do, actually.
Yeah. We might just call it science in the future.
I'll come up with an altogether new term, a reconnective healing moment. Oh, it was a reconnective healing moment. Yeah. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we are the future.
It is, of course, extraordinary. Absolutely. And it does feel miraculous at times, But yeah, it might just be science. I wanted to share also from my own experience, because we started this conversation with, you have to have a positive attitude and coming from a client's perspective. But I'd like to share my own experience as a practitioner that, of course, I'm there, I'm present when my clients visit me in my practice. But often the question of people who learn this work comes up, okay, what about your own health or your state of being when you're facilitating the session? How important is that? And when this question came up when we were communicating about our call, I had to think about a session I facilitated when I was super tired. I had just done a Reconnective Healing training, I believe, in Prague. We had just done a few days of continuous working. You know how it is, 6 a.m, midnight, and short nights, lots of impressions, flights, taxis, all of that. And I thought I booked a few days off, and but I had a client who really wanted to come and see me. And I explained to her, but we can meet at the end of the week. There is no time right now, but she almost begged me to come. And I thought, well, I opened up 2 days, why not? And she came, we went to the table, I facilitated the session, and I thought, oh no, I should not have done that. I'm just not fully present. I just feel my body is still recovering from all these days and traveling and different experiences. And I felt a bit guilty, actually. I thought, oh, I should not have done that. And I don't know, in my human mind, I sort of apologized to the frequencies. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that, but it's, we have these little things in our brain or in our mind. And I was totally dumbfounded when I touched her shoulder and she said, oh my goodness, that was the most wonderful thing ever. I'm so happy you saw me this day. And something just, absolutely clicked in me. Okay, it is not about my state of being. It's not about me. It is the frequencies. They are very constant. We can have our ups and downs, and we need our sleep and all of that. And I realized that, our state of being, whether we have positive thoughts or negative thoughts, or, they are changing also all the time. And they may not be of any effect on the interaction we have with our clients or the frequencies.
And I'm glad that you mentioned the training programs too. So true. Very little sleep, so rewarding. And just to follow up on your point, there's as a practitioner, your attention needs to be there as part of the session, but how you're like you described, the feeling out of sorts, the other compounds that the mind creates. The moment we enter into that session, something happens, something transforms us and takes us into that moment. And anyone, great Reconnective family, anyone can learn to do this. And I know Nadia has a few events coming up in the Netherlands. Share. What's coming up for Reconnective Healing in the Netherlands?
Well, in the Netherlands, we're doing a few workshops where we have 2.5 hours. Sometimes we extend it to 3 if people are very enthusiastic and lots of questions come up. And we are doing a few of them this year. First on the list is the 7th of February, and that will be in the Rotterdam area. And then we have the 18th of April, which will be in the area of a city called Leiden. And there will be more of these workshops planned this year, and I really want to emphasize that we can also come to your area. If you can get a group together, I'll be happy to travel to your place and teach a little reconnective healing, have people meet the frequencies and start to feel this in their hands and open up this journey for them. If you already know that you are wanting this in your life, then I've got really, really great news, because in 2021, the beginning of 2021, the 6th and the 7th of February, we will be back in the Netherlands for a level 2 Reconnective Healing practitioner training. Yay! Yeah. I've got so many people asking about that. So finally we can say we have the dates. As soon as information about location and pricing and everything is sorted, you will find it on my website.
And just to remind everyone, that link, Nadia has given me the link. I've put it down here in the description. So go visit, sign up, get the latest information, be updated by Nadia on where are the new best things coming up. Here. Absolutely. Say that again, because we overlapped.
Come join our family.
Do you hear that? Come join our family. Nadia, it's been such a pleasure to have you here on the RH Jam. I hope I can entice you to come back soon. And I am again so grateful. I know how late it is over there. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I absolutely love this work and I love sharing it with others. And if people have questions or something related to what we spoke about, if it comes up, please feel free to contact me.
Absolutely, guys. And hey, that link is below. There's a link to Nadia. You just follow it and you can reach out to her directly. Nadia, thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
What can I tell you guys? That's 2 things there that maybe we should put in our chat. What do you think a miracle is? And do you think, like Nadia says, that positive maybe just covers up for underlying emotions, underlying things, and we're just trying to cover them? It'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say. And you can always send me more suggestions to tackle these questions further down the line. I will put in my email. I know there are a few questions here. Want to welcome Alejandro Villaseñor. Welcome. I want to welcome Miguel Lopez as well, who has a really interesting question regarding trying to direct a healing. So Miguel, one of the things that we know for sure 100% about reconnective healing is that it just is. It's about not trying to direct and not trying to control any outcome. And there's plenty more that I know you're going to get right here in the chat, because I've got the amazing Cecilia Sam and Lexi Alexander to help you with a little bit more of information on this. I want to share with you guys a quick clip that Eric and Jillian shot regarding an interview. They're doing all sorts of really amazing interviews recently, and this one is, coincidentally, perhaps not, about the law of attraction and manifesting. Here it is, a sneak peek, because this premieres this Saturday, the 25th. Here we go.
So it's a different level of manifestation, because it's geared about attention, and many people go into the law of attraction seeing if they can bring into their lives what they are intending, what they're looking for, and what they're desiring. It's I would certainly not call it a higher level, and not from a perspective of anything other than, to me, what is the highest is allowing a higher, an all-knowing intelligence of the field to determine what's appropriate. But following the law of attraction, what happens is we work to create our attention in a certain way so that things manifests in our lives, which sometimes, trying to have our attention somewhere also has a little bit of a, I hope I don't fear base of what if we put our attention on the wrong thing. And then when we try not to focus on something, it's like trying not to think of a pink elephant, all you can do. And so sometimes, according to the laws, you might be attracting where you are. So it takes a very good center to do the law of attraction. I am just thankful that, as we talked about in the earlier segment, in Reconnective Healing, we don't have to work on that. But Reconnective Healing, again, is not about, there's no pressure on doing it right or wrong. But again, Reconnective Healing is not about bringing a specific desired result in. It's about seeing what higher intelligence has in mind for us.
Guys, is that nice? I just said, and you saw it on the screen, this interview premieres this Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I strongly recommend you join us. The link is below. I put the link below, okay? I want to welcome as well Injal, who's joined our chat. And guys, we are short on time. Let's jump into our topic conclusion sheet, okay? Because I want to leave you with a couple of things that really came up for me. And maybe you'll have something else to add to the list yourselves or want to share with me. But here are 3 ways that we can open up to receiving, all right? And the first one is, let's start by just knowing we are all worthy to receive by having been born. The fact that we are born, that we're humans, that we are on this planet is actually the key that for us to be able to receive. This is something that Dr. Eric Pearl has been saying for years, and it is absolutely correct. Reconnective Healing, these frequencies do not distinguish between merits, goods or bads. There is no judgment. We receive by simply having been born. Number 2, use your attention, not your intention. And there's nothing wrong with setting up intentions to achieve something you want. But when we use our attention and we just pay attention, a whole new panorama opens for us of possibilities. Remember, where your attention goes, while your intention may be to, concentrate on positive outcome, you want to do good on that exam, and you're concentrating on this, your attention may be actually on what you're going to have for dinner. So remember, wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. And awareness of our attention helps us experience the now, because ultimately, manifestation, miracles, the change and transformation, the healing happens in the now. When we're in the flow, which we discussed in our previous episode of the RH Jam, when we're in that reconnective healing flow, all possibilities become available to us. And here is where the miracles, quote unquote, happen. Because, guys, RH, reconnective healing, always brings upon transformation and healing. It is up to our perception to catch up with what is. And it is for us to also let go of a want and understand that it's always what is needed, what gets that transformation. Don't do it. And guys, we are out of time. I encourage you to visit previous RH Jams. We have one on miracles with Virginia Adams, and we have one on receiving with Dr. Eric Pearl himself. Just check the playlist of the RH Jam and you'll find these two amazing previous episodes that we talk a lot more about this. And now we are coming to the end. And just to remind you, the definitive Reconnective Healing experience is the one experience. And I'm going to put more information in the following screen. We are, as always, offering the first hour of the portal. It's free of charge. There is no commitment. Enjoy it. There's 2 exercises that you can learn but for yourself, by yourself, to start interacting with these frequencies. Once again, thank you to Nadia. We kept you up, Nadia. You did us such a gift being here with us today. And thank you again to Lexi Alexander, Cecilia Sams, and the entire Reconnection team. And this has been all for me for this week. At your service, Ana Clavell with the RH Jam. We'll be back here next Thursday, same time. Bye-bye.